now going to finish our elevator build. So far, you should have your two sides that we built together. You should have cut out your base. And then you should have right now you only have one little cardboard piece that's 1.5 inches by 1/2 inch. We are also going to need to cut out one more. This one needs to be 1 inch by 1.5 inches. So the same width as this other piece, but a little bit taller. So at this time, you might want to pause this video and go ahead and cut out your 1 inch by 1.5 inch rectangle. I'll write that right here so that you can see exactly how big it is. So it's 1.5 inches wide and it's 1 inch tall. So once you have all of these things, please press play again on the video. Okay, so now that we have our parts, we're going to piece it together. You are going to also need to get out one of the skewers that I passed out earlier and your rulers. So right now we're going to set the other things that we've already cut out aside. We're going to get this skewer. Your team's only going to need one, and we are going to be cutting out 4 2-inch size pieces. So for this, we're going to go ahead and mark on our skewer 2 inches. All right, so I'm going to line it up where it starts here, and I'm going to go to the 2, and I'm going to make a mark. All right, then I'm going to go to the 4, I'm going to make a mark, and then to the 6, and then last at the 8. Now, we don't get scissors to cut these type of pieces out. What you're actually going to get out is your pair of needle nose pliers. Now, we spoke in class about how needle nose plier is also a cutting tool. If you look in this section right here, you're going to notice that there are 2 small blades. Please don't put your fingers there. And what we are going to do is we are going to put our skewer right where we measured it, right where those 2 blades are going to cut, and we simply press down, and now we have our 2-inch piece. So let's go ahead and do that on our other pieces. Whoops. Might want to have a partner hold the rest of the stick so it doesn't fly off like it just did for me. And then our last piece right here, any excess wood that's left from this build, you're going to want to bring it to me, raise your hand, and I will come and collect these. We will use these at a later date, so no reason to throw them away. So let's just put those to the side. All right. So at this point, you are going to be ready to start some hot gluing. When you go to the hot glue station, you're going to notice that they are set up with a piece of pink paper underneath them. The point of this is to keep all the hot glue from getting all over the counter. So when you are done with the hot glue, I do ask that you sit it right back on the pink paper back counter. So let's go ahead and get all of our tools ready. Let's go ahead and put together the 2 elevator sides. So what we're going to do with these small 2-inch pieces we just cut out, we are going to be attaching them to the 4 sides that do not have wire. So I'm going to go ahead, get my hot glue gun, make sure that there's hot glue in it. So if there is not, I need to get another piece. All right, now that there is, I'm going to be using this carefully. When you use hot glue, you need to know that this part of the hot glue gun is in fact hot. You don't need to touch anywhere up in this area. And you can see exactly how much hot glue is there. If it starts to get into this area, it is okay to go ahead and get another piece. We do not need to touch the hot glue or put our hand on it to spread it. If you get it in the wrong place, we will use old skewers to spread out the hot glue. So this time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a dot of hot glue on this part right here. I'm doing it left-handed, so give me just a second. All right, then I'm going to take one of my skewers and I'm going to put it right here, facing straight up. All right, let that dry for a minute. I'm going to continue onto my other side. All right, got a little bit of hot glue there. I'm going to set it down to the side while I'm not using it. Hopefully it won't fall. Okay, and I'm going to get my second 2-inch piece of skewer and I'm going to hold it in place. Okay, I'm going to continue doing that for all 4. So the other 2 pieces right here, let me switch to my right hand. All right there. This isn't going to take a lot of hot glue, so there's no reason to keep pushing a lot of hot glue out. All right, so now I'm going to put my other 2 pieces right here. I And, uh-oh, that one fell down. So when you're doing this, you're going to have a partner who could be holding some of these in place while they dry. You're going to want to hold them in place for about 20 to 30 seconds. That's why mine fell, because I hadn't held it in place. We're going to let that dry just for a minute. And at this time, if they do keep falling over, it is perfectly okay to go back with a little bit more glue at the bottom and keep it in place. So we're going to let this dry, and I recommend having someone on your team hold them while they are drying just for a little bit. This one is really not wanting to stay, and you're going to run into that same problem. You don't want them to fall over because you want them to be attached to the whole build.